I would say be very clear on what you're trying to accomplish first and be really stubborn on that vision and that goal and be flexible on how you get there. So I think in what happens, especially we dealt with this, like a lot of the problems that we were when we were growing from 2 million to 3 million and 4 million to 5 million is you're really just trying. There's so many fires and things that you have to put out each and every day. You're just dealing with what's right in front of your face. And you're not very good about having this North Star out here of this is what I want my business to look like in a year or in 18 months. Because you're so worried about, I just need to hit these numbers right in front of my face. So I would be very clear with your leadership team and maybe you don't have a leadership team and maybe it's just you and a few employees.
Hey everyone, this is Devin Miller here with another episode of The Inventive Journey. I'm your host, Devin Miller, the serial entrepreneur that's grown several startups into 7 and 8 figure businesses, as well as the founder and CEO of Miller IP Law, where he helps startups and small businesses with their patents and trademarks. If you ever need help with yours, just go to strategymeeting.com, grab some time with us to chat, and we're always here to help. Now, today we've got another great guest on the podcast. Eric Watkins, and Eric started his journey in high school playing a lot of sports, and then ended up getting injured. So while he was playing sports, I think did play college football for a bit, but with the injuries and whatnot, focused on the degree, which was in marketing. Also started as an unpaid internship out of college for the current business. Worked his way up to president 2019. COVID hit shortly thereafter and acquired his first business in 2021. So with that much as a introduction, welcome on the podcast, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Good to see you, Devin.
Absolutely excited to have you on. So, well, I just gave a quick walkthrough to a much longer journey, but why don't we rewind and unpack a little bit and tell us a little bit about how your journey got started playing sports in high school and college.
Sure. Yeah. So I played sports my whole life. And in high school, I played freshman year, I played football, basketball, and baseball. And I got to about the middle of my freshman year basketball season, and I had a lot of knee issues at the time. So got it checked out by the doctor, and they said that I had this bone disease, basically, where my bone and my knee was deteriorating. So had to get that fixed, missed baseball season, but then ultimately played sports again the next year, got into it, was able to stay healthy my whole sophomore year. And, towards the end of sophomore year, my knee started hurting again. And I also had a couple issues with my shoulders. And so I went into the same doctor and he checked, he was checking out my knee, but at the same time, he was checking out my shoulders as well. And hold on one second. I got all these flies floating around. Give me one.
All right, so sorry about that for the audience. We had to deal with a bit of a fly issue, but now we're back, and Eric's picking up back on his journey. So yeah, pick up where you left off and tell us a little bit more.
Sure. Hopefully those flies are gone. I apologize. I'm at my house. I'm heading out here on vacation here in a couple hours.
No worries.
Yeah. So sophomore year, went back to the same doctor, was having the knee issues. And while I was there, I had him check out my shoulders as well. And so, long story short, unfortunately, what I found out is that I tore my labrum in both of my shoulders. And then I also had to have another knee surgery. So my whole entire junior year was basically rehab and surgeries. And then, I could never play basketball again because my knee couldn't take the pounding on the hard court, but was able to come back, play football my senior year. We did pretty well as a team. I did well enough to play Division III college football. And if you want to call it play, I was there for about one semester and then realized I wasn't going to have a good shot at starting until my senior or maybe junior year. So ended up transitioning and went to the University of Missouri and just started, pursuing my career in marketing.
So now, you came out of college, or you came out of school with the marketing degree as an undergraduate, and I think you said that you started your career, so to speak, as unpaid internship out of college, and or with the business you're currently at, but starting in that lower position in quotes, or unpaid internship, and working your way up. So I guess first of all, what was that? What is that business? And walk us through a little bit about how you worked your way up.
Sure. Yeah. So Abstract Marketing, sales development company, full service marketing company, but primarily we focus on setting sales appointments up for our clients in the B2B space. So we'll work on behalf of a client. We'll call the companies that matter most to them. We'll email, we'll use LinkedIn, we'll use web and digital, with the goal of setting them up with qualified prospects for them to be able to go and sell their services. And as we've grown, this year we'll be close to 70 million in revenue and about 550 employees here in St. Louis. And we've added a couple different divisions as well. So we have a full service creative and video agency. We have a full service CRM software and integration, primarily around Salesforce. So a Salesforce consulting division. And then we also launched this past year our talent solutions division to help. Really, all of these products started for us to be able to help service our clients who had these needs. But I started back in 2012 as a unpaid intern. And I remember walking into the place, and they had just moved to the building that we're at on the Laclede's Landing in St. Louis. And I remember looking at, they had this big space, and we just filled up like this tiny portion. There was 20, 25 people doing a couple $1 million in revenue. And I remember thinking, like, why in the hell did they buy all of this space and they only have this many people? And obviously they had big plans and ambitions to grow. And I sort of fell in love with the culture. It wasn't stuffy, it was loose, but it was work hard and play hard. They had a lot of fun, but everybody was really working and committed to the work they were doing. So I started in the operational side. I was building the list for our clients. I was running important key metrics for our sales center. I was handling bugs and issues, just doing a little bit of everything. And it was, looking back, I'm really glad I had that opportunity, because it laid the foundation of exposing me to a lot of areas of the business. And then so I worked my way through operations, and eventually the first promotion I got was to take on implementations. So I was in charge of the onboarding of all of our new clients, making sure they had the right strategy, the right expectations, and that ultimately they were set up for us to go have success for them when we launched the program. Did that for a while and got really good at it and got really comfortable at it. So I love talking to customers. I love hearing about their stories, hearing and crafting the way we could design this for them to go have success in the market. And it came to a point where our CEO, we had a need of a partner sales manager. And our CEO came to me and said, Eric, we know you're doing great here in operations, helping out with implementations. You're doing a great job, but we need you to go play this role. I had never, and it was managing the accounts and then managing a team of SDRs who were cold calling and setting up appointments. And I'd never done that yet at this point in my career. So this was a really big leap for me. And it was one of those things where I didn't feel like I was ready. I didn't feel like I was qualified, but ultimately, I trusted our CEO and his vision. And he said, this would be a great opportunity for you to grow this entire other skill set. And so I jumped into that role. And in that role, it was as bad as I thought it was going to be. First thing I had to do was learn how to call, and I wasn't very good at it. But ultimately, I was surrounded by a really good team, and continued to improve and get better. And then from there, sort of the rest is history. I was performed well in the partner sales manager role. We grew so much as a business that then we were able to, I was able to transition into the director role where I'm managing managers. So that was a big adjustment. and then took on the president role in 2019. And that was when I took on sales, operations, training, and product, in addition to the fulfillment and account management of our product. And then fast forward, that was when COVID hit, right in March of 2020. So 5 months later, had to deal with that. And that was a great learning lesson and opportunity to grow. And then, fast forward to today, 2021, we made our first acquisition as a company of Sapper Consulting. And then at the end of last year, my duties as president is really more on the running the operations of the business. And then I have a counterpart who's our chief revenue officer, who runs all of our sales and sales enablement. But that's some of the journey of how I got here.
Awesome. Sounds like quite a good journey, and it's always fun to hear when you kind of start from the bottom, get all the experiences, you work your way up, and then have the opportunity to become a part of ownership or management of the business. So it sounds like a great experience. Now, so kind of as you've now worked your way to the present day of kind of where you're at with your journey. Now, if you're to kind of look out and project kind of where the next 6 to 12 months are headed, or kind of what you see is going on there, kind of where do you see that next 6 to 12 months going for you?
Yeah, I think it's a really exciting time for our business because we've really conditioned our business to be able to grow by a minimum of 20% organically year over year. And that growing 20% 5 years ago is a lot smaller revenue and a lot less people that you have to bring into the organization than it is, growing 20% at $70 million. So we're ramping up for 2024 and putting goals in place. And I think what we'll see this year is just more opportunity and more growth for the individuals within the company. And what we're really going to need to do is see our younger leaders take that same leap that I had to take at one point, where you're going from the manager role to a director role, or you're going from the director role to the VP role, or in the VP role, your scope is growing by 20% from what it was before. So really continuing to work with the team to stretch ourselves, develop ourselves to make sure that we're ready to handle the growth.
Sounds like a lot of exciting opportunities yet to come, and a lot of things or positive things to look forward to. So awesome. Well, now as we've reached the present day of your journey, and even looking a bit into the future as to where things might be headed, great time to transition to the 2 questions I always like to ask at the end of each episode. So we'll jump to those now. So the first question I'd like to ask is, along your journey, what was the worst business decision you ever made, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, so this is tough because I've made a lot of bad decisions along the way. I would say the worst business decision, and it's unfortunately not one that I made, but I almost made, was to be short-sighted in my career. I think that, speaking to all the young professionals out there who maybe don't interview for the position because they don't feel like they're ready, or they feel like somebody is more qualified than them. If I wouldn't have taken that leap, I was lucky enough to have our CEO come talk to me and push me a little bit. But if he wasn't going to do that, I would have gone down a different path in my life, and that path is fine. And I probably would have been more in operations, and there'd have been a lot of benefits to that, but just I wouldn't have the opportunity that I now have in front of me. So I would say, my biggest advice for people to prevent doing in their careers is, when you have that opportunity, if it scares you a little bit, that's a good thing, because that means you're growing, that means you're learning. And that could have been one of the worst business decisions that I would have made. I'm not sure if that's a cop out, because I didn't frankly make it, but I feel like
that's a great takeaway. And it's interesting. It's always a balance. If sometimes you stick with a position, or you stick with a company way too long, and then you regret not doing something else, or or going somewhere else, or taking advantage of another opportunity. But by the same token, sometimes you get antsy, or you don't think things through, or you get anxious, or you don't see the bigger picture, and you miss out on the opportunity. So definitely a great one to learn from. Second question now that I'd like to ask is, So now if you're looking to or talking to someone that's just getting into a startup or a small business, what would be the one piece of advice you'd give them?
I would say be very clear on what you're trying to accomplish first and be really stubborn on that vision and that goal and be flexible on how you get there. So I think in what happens, especially we dealt with this, like a lot of the problems that when we were growing from 2 million to 3 million and 4 million to 5 million is you're really just trying. There's so many fires and things that you have to put out each and every day. You're just dealing with what's right in front of your face. And you're not very good about having this North Star out here of this is what I want my business to look like in a year or in 18 months. Because you're so worried about, I just need to hit these numbers right in front of my face. So I would be very clear with your leadership team and maybe you don't have a leadership team and maybe it's just you and a few employees, but be very clear on what is this business going to look like 12 to 18 months from now. And you can go further out than that, but I always feel like put it in something that, it's hard for people to really grasp what something's going to look like in 5 years because it's such a long time frame, short in the scheme of things, but long in the day to day, especially when you're starting a company. So what's your vision 12 to 18 months from now? And then what's the advantages of your team when you get to that vision? Is there more growth? Is there more pay? Is there more opportunity? What is their desirable future to continue to work through this? And so that way you're working strategically towards something and you're also using it to motivate and encourage your employees to help you get there.
Awesome. No, I think that's definitely a great piece of advice and a great takeaway. So awesome. Well, now as we are kind of reaching towards the end of the episode, or if people want to reach out to you, they want to be a customer, they want to be a client, they want to be an employee, they want to be an investor, they want to be your next best friend, any or all of the above, what's the best way to reach out to you, contact you, find out more?
Sure. Well, preferably best friend. I don't have a lot of friends, so I'd love some more friends. So feel free to reach out. But I'm on LinkedIn. You can just look me up, Eric Watkins at Abstract Marketing Group or at Abstract Marketing Group. And then our website is abstract, spelt with a K, ABSTRAKT, and then mg.com. And you can look our website up, look at our services. And then myself, our CEO, and our chief revenue officer also have a podcast that we do. It's called The Grow Show. And what we go through is I was talking about creating vision for your employees there. Our CEO has 50 things that he would recommend on how you get your business to $50 million. And so he goes through one of those each show. I go through 50 tips and strategies for how to increase your sales development flow or increase the leads for your business. And then our chief revenue officer goes through 50 tales from sales, where he's talking about different strategies and how to capitalize on the leads that you create as a business. So I would look up The Grow Show, and you can listen to some of those episodes if you're looking for content. But if you're looking for services or you're looking for a job, easiest way is just reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'd love to chat with whoever more about it.
Awesome. Well, I definitely encourage people to reach out, support a great business, and if nothing else, make a new best friend. So with that, thank you again, Eric, for coming on the podcast. It's been fun. It's been a pleasure. Now, for all of you that are listeners are out there, if you have your own journey to share and you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, we'd love to have you. Just go to inventiveguest.com, apply to be on the show. A couple more things as listeners. Make sure to click share, subscribe, leave us a review. Helps us to reach even more startups and small businesses to help them along their journey to success. And on that note, if you ever need help along your journey with patents or trademarks or anything else for your startup, your small business, just go to strategymeeting.com, grab some time with us to chat, and we're always here to help. Well, thank you again, Eric, for coming on the podcast, and wish the next leg of your journey even better than the last.
Awesome. Thank you, Devin.